Mastering Your Inner Voice. Transform your self-talk in 7 days for lasting change. Introduction. The science behind self-talk and its power. The way we talk to ourselves is one of the most powerful influences on our thoughts, emotions, behaviors, and overall mental well-being. In fact, self-talk is not just a random mental process. It is deeply rooted in how our brains function and how we shape our reality. This book will guide you through a 7-day journey to change your inner dialogue and harness the full power of positive self-talk, ultimately transforming your emotional state, decision-making, and life path. What is self-talk, and why should you care? Self-talk is the internal narrative that runs through your mind throughout the day. It is not only a reflection of your thoughts, but a guide that shapes your perceptions, actions, and beliefs. Self-talk can be positive, negative, or neutral, and it often comes automatically. However, the frequency and nature of your self-talk determine your mental state and how you approach the world. Our brains are wired to focus on negative information, a phenomenon known as negativity bias. This was an evolutionary survival mechanism to keep us alert to potential dangers. Unfortunately, this bias often manifests in our self-talk, making us more likely to criticize ourselves or focus on our weaknesses. The power of positive self-talk is immense. Neuroscientific studies show that how you speak to yourself can literally change your brain's structure and functionality. Repeating positive affirmations or rethinking negative thoughts strengthens neural pathways that improve your mood, resilience, and performance. Day 1. The deep importance of awareness in self-talk. Before you can begin to change your self-talk, you must first become acutely aware of it. Most of us go through life unaware of the constant commentary running in the background of our minds. Understanding this commentary is critical because it determines how you feel about yourself and the world. The cognitive triangle: thoughts, emotions, and behaviors. A central concept in cognitive psychology is the cognitive triangle, which illustrates how your thoughts, emotions, and behaviors are interconnected. Negative self-talk creates a cycle where negative thoughts lead to negative emotions, which in turn lead to negative behaviors. Example: thought, I'm terrible at speaking in public. Emotion, anxiety, fear, self-doubt. Behavior, avoiding opportunities to speak or performing poorly when speaking. Exercise, becoming a witness to your inner dialogue. For today, observe your self-talk throughout the day. Write down each thought and categorize it as positive, negative, or neutral. Pay particular attention to your thoughts during stressful situations or when faced with a challenge. Do they tend to be self-critical? Are you supportive? Or are you your own biggest critic? Questions to reflect on. How does your inner dialogue affect your mood? Are you often harsh or compassionate toward yourself? How do these thoughts influence your actions? Reflecting on your observations. At the end of the day, review your observations. You may notice patterns or themes. Perhaps you frequently criticize yourself for perceived failures or expect perfection from yourself. Recognizing these patterns is the first step in transforming your self-talk. Day 2. Rewriting your narrative with cognitive restructuring. Once you are aware of your self-talk, the next step is to begin rewriting it. Cognitive restructuring is a therapeutic technique used to challenge and change unhelpful thoughts. This method allows you to replace irrational, negative beliefs with more balanced and empowering alternatives. The power of reframing. Cognitive reframing in action. Cognitive reframing helps you reframe negative thoughts into something more constructive. Instead of dwelling on your mistakes or perceived shortcomings, you learn to look at them through a more compassionate and growth-oriented lens. Example: negative thought, I always fail at this, so I'll never succeed. Reframe thought, I've faced challenges before and overcome them. I will learn from this experience and continue moving forward. Exercise: reframe negative self-talk. Choose one of the negative thoughts you identified yesterday. Write down the unhelpful thought and its underlying belief, e.g., I'm not good enough. Now, challenge that thought. Ask yourself, is this thought true? Is there evidence that contradicts it? What would I say to a friend who had this thought? Example: negative thought, I'm not good enough. Reframed thought, I am worthy of success and capable of improving with effort. Write these reframed thoughts in your journal and start using them whenever the negative thought arises. By practicing this consistently, you'll train your brain to default to more positive and realistic beliefs. Day 3. Kindness and compassion. The neural benefits of self-compassion. Self-compassion is the practice of treating yourself with the same kindness, care, and understanding that you would offer a loved one. Contrary to what many believe, self-compassion does not involve self-indulgence or weakness. It is a strength that promotes emotional well-being, resilience, and even physical health. The science of self-compassion. How being kind to yourself rewires your brain. Research from Dr. Kristen F., a leading expert in self-compassion, shows that when we treat ourselves with compassion, we activate areas of the brain that are associated with reward and safety, such as the ventral striatum. This release of oxytocin and dopamine not only enhances our emotional regulation, but also improves our capacity to handle stress. Exercise. Self-compassionate letter. Write a letter to yourself as though you were writing to a dear friend who is struggling. Acknowledge the difficulties you've been through, but offer words of comfort, encouragement, and support. Use phrases like, "It's okay to not be perfect. You are doing your best. You deserve love and respect, regardless of your challenges. I am proud of you for showing up every day, even when it's tough." Read the letter out loud to yourself and let the words sink in. The more you practice self-compassion, the more naturally it will come to you in times of stress or failure. Day 4. Transforming your inner critic into a constructive voice. The inner critic is often an automatic, harsh voice that highlights our flaws and mistakes. But this voice can be rechanneled into a helpful, growth-oriented internal mentor. Transforming your inner critic into a coach involves shifting the perspective of your internal dialogue from punitive to constructive. The evolution of the inner critic. The inner critic is often shaped by early life experiences where negative feedback or judgment may have been internalized. This internalized voice continues to influence us in adulthood, often with unrealistic standards. However, the critic doesn't have to be the enemy. When reframed, the inner critic can provide valuable insights for personal development. Exercise. Reframe your inner critic. Reflect on a recent moment when your inner critic was active. What was the criticism? Now, rewrite that criticism as if it were coming from a coach or mentor. The focus should be on constructive feedback rather than judgment. Example: inner critic, you'll never succeed in this job. Coach, this is a challenge, but you have the skills and capacity to overcome it. Let's break it down and make it manageable. Use this reframe daily. Whenever your inner critic speaks, counter it with a more constructive and supportive voice. Day 5. Visualization. How your mind can shape your reality. Visualization is a powerful mental tool that top athletes, performers, and successful individuals use to create positive outcomes. When you visualize success, your brain activates the same neural pathways that would be involved in achieving the goal. This process builds confidence and prepares you for success. The neuroscience of visualization. Programming your brain for success. Visualization activates the mirror neurons in the brain, which help to simulate real-life experiences. This mental rehearsal not only boosts motivation, but also builds a belief in your ability to succeed. Exercise. Visualize your future success. Spend 10 to 15 minutes today visualizing yourself successfully achieving a goal. Visualize every detail of the process, how you'll feel, what you'll do, and the reactions of others. As you do, use positive self-talk such as, "I am prepared and capable of achieving my goals. I handle challenges with grace and confidence." Day 6. harnessing your self-talk during challenges. Life is filled with challenges, and how you talk to yourself in these moments can determine how effectively you navigate through them. When stress or difficulties arise, it is easy to fall back into negative self-talk, but with the right tools, you can shift your mindset and approach challenges with resilience. How stress affects the brain. When under stress, the amygdala, the brain's fear center, activates, often causing us to react with anxiety, fear, or even anger. Self-talk that is negative or self-critical can intensify this response. On the other hand, using positive and calming self-talk can help activate the prefrontal cortex, which is responsible for reasoning and decision-making. Exercise. Reframe a stressful situation. Think of a stressful situation you are facing. Write down the automatic thoughts that arise. Then, reframe those thoughts to promote a sense of control and agency. Example. Stressful thought. This is too overwhelming. I won't be able to handle it. Reframe thought. This is challenging, but I have faced difficulties before and emerged stronger. I can break this down into smaller steps. Day 7. Reflecting on your growth and reinforcing positive change. After a week of shifting your self-talk, it's important to reflect on your progress and reinforce the new mindset you've cultivated. The power of reflection in the change process. Reflection is critical because it helps solidify the changes you've made and gives you insight into how far you've come. By looking back on your journey, you can track your growth and further commit to the practice of positive self-talk. Exercise. Reflect on your growth. Take time today to reflect on your journey. Review your journal entries from day 1 to day 6. What changes do you notice in your self-talk? How do you feel about yourself now compared to a week ago? Write a letter to yourself, acknowledging the progress you've made and reaffirming your commitment to continue using these practices to improve your life. Conclusion. The lifelong journey of empowering self-talk. Changing your self-talk is not a one-time process. It's a lifelong practice. As you continue to apply the techniques in this book, remember that growth takes time. The more consistently you engage in positive self-talk, the more it will shape your emotional and mental landscape. Keep practicing these techniques, and you will continue to evolve into the best version of yourself.